the 8th edition of Pod Universal, India's first pod magazine released in May 2007. Adams Bridge, popularly known as Ramar Bridge or Setu Bandhan at Rameshwaram, is one of the most revered monuments by millions of Hindus, Muslims and Christians. It is also believed to have been constructed by Lord Rama with the help of Lord Hanuman. In the pretext of Setu Samudram Canal project, the Indian government is hurrying up to destroy this bridge, in spite of protests by general public and opposition parties. The Honorable Minister for Shipping has announced in the Parliament that there was no archaeological evidence for the existence of an ancient bridge. In this background, this edition brings out some of the documentary facts about this ancient monument and also the possible consequences of destruction of this bridge in the ecology and also the risk involved if next tsunami occurs. But before we listen to the experts' views, let's listen to the pod editorial of K. Srinivasan, the editor of Pod Universal.
Hi friends, I am back with you again in this 8th edition of Pod Universal, India's first pod magazine. In one of our earlier editions, we have carried a story on the controversial $560 million, that is 2,500 crores rupees Setu Samudram Canal project. In spite of protests from religious groups, scientists in geology and ocean experts, former defense officials and tsunami experts, the present Indian government is adamant about breaking the Adams Bridge, which is otherwise popularly known as Rama's Bridge at Rameshwaram, southern tip of India. Though the courts have advised the governments to set up an expert committee to go into the facts given by the people who are opposing the breaking of Adams Bridge, the government is not prepared to accept the suggestions and is brushing them aside without valid arguments. Adams Bridge or Rama's Bridge is one of the ancient monuments of India worth to be declared as a World Heritage Site. When all the governments in the world are spending huge amount of money to preserve their cultural and traditional monuments, Indian government is in a hurry to spend large sums of money to destroy a great monument for the reasons best known to them, when alternatives are available at lower cost. The ordinary citizen of this country is more concerned about this and eagerly looks forward to UNESCO and Greenpeace to step into this controversy and make an independent study. Till we meet next, bye.
That was K. Srinivasan, editor of Pod Universal. Friends, we have with us Dr. S. Kalyanaraman, Director, Saraswati Research Center, working for the revival of River Saraswati and National Water Grid. He has also published an 8-volume encyclopedia on Vedic River Saraswati and a multilingual comparative dictionary for over 25 ancient Indian languages. He is closely associated with Rameshwaram Ram Setu Protection Movement. He has also published a book, Rama Setu, bringing out various documentary evidences on the existence of a man-made bridge, what we call Adams Bridge or Rama Bridge. Please listen to him now.
This is a presentation making an appeal for realigning the Setu Samudram channel, taking into account the scientific and security aspects of the region and the impact on the livelihood of the coastal people. The bathymetry or sea depths of the region can be seen from this image. The depth ranges from 2000 meters near Tuticorin to almost 0 meters when it comes near Ramasetu. This Ramasetu is also called Adams Bridge. The area is called the Gulf of Mannar and Park Strait. The channel alignment presently chosen runs almost along the medial line, that is the midpoint between Indian land and Sri Lankan land. This virtually creates an international boundary which has serious repercussions for national security. The appeal is that this alignment should be slightly altered in such a way that it does not go through Ramasetu or Adams Bridge, but goes through Dhanushkodi, which will in fact reduce the distance by about 35 nautical miles. The presentation is divided into 3 parts. Number one, evidences for the existence of Ramasetu will be provided. Number two, a plea will be made for preparedness for the next tsunami. And number three, it will talk about the impact on the coastal life and impact on national sovereignty. Because we have to take into account the tsunami that had a devastating effect that struck on December 26, 2004. The project alignment has been chosen well before this date, and the effects of the tsunami have not been incorporated in the project. I will demonstrate what happened during the tsunami. This is a simulation that is made by 250 scientists on what happened on 26 December 2004. When the tsunami struck and the water came and hit the shores of Bharatam, the Ramasetu or Adams Bridge saved the coastline. The waves tried to enter from the east, the Ramasetu stopped it, and the waves went around Sri Lanka and came through the west. Again, Ramasetu stopped them. Because of that, number of lives were saved and the coastal property, including our thorium deposits, were saved. In 1956, after independence, a committee was appointed called the A. Ramaswamy Mudaliar Committee, which went through a number of alternatives for creating a naval link between Tuticorin and Chennai and Haldia on the east coast. After reviewing a number of alternatives, they suggested that a canal like the Panama Canal or the Suez Canal as a land-based canal should be taken through Mantapam. And they also made a categorical recommendation that in no circumstance should there be a channel passage through the Adams Bridge. I would read the last sentence. The idea of cutting a passage in the sea through Adams Bridge should be abandoned. The reasons were, number one, the shifting sandbanks present a very formidable problem both at the stage of construction and during maintenance. Number two, the approaches to the channel would be far too open with no possibility of constructing protective works. In fact, such protective works become very important in the wake of the tsunami. So tsunami protection measures must be made an integral part of any canal made in this region. And number three, they also said the channel would be bordering on the Setu Samudra medial line and would be in effect creating a boundary which never existed between India and Sri Lanka. It will have serious repercussions on our sovereignty. So this A.R. Mudaliar committee recommendations are accepted by the following four committees. They all had alignments chosen along the land near Dhanushkodi, near Pamban, near Mantapam. Whereas the present alignment chosen is an arbitrarily drawn line in the middle of the ocean. It will be impossible for us to maintain a channel passage given the cyclonic storms that are recurrent, and now we are also likely to face another tsunami. The consequences of this Setu Samudram channel project is such that the impact of the tsunami and how it has changed the bathymetry, that is the sea depth, has not been taken into account. In fact, after the 2004 tsunami, the seabed has risen by 200 to 300 meters in some parts of the Indian Ocean. In addition, we have thorium deposits in Kerala, in places like Aluva and Chavara, and in Tamil Nadu, in a place called Manavalankurchi, where there are Rare Earths Limited, a Government of India corporation, accumulating this thorium, which is a very important nuclear fuel for us, for our nuclear program of the country. And the tsunami protection measures have not been incorporated in the project. In addition, an ancient heritage monument, which should have been declared as such and protected, is now thought to be destroyed. This is the map which shows the project area. On the left hand side we have Mantapam, followed by a Pamban gap where about small ships can pass through. We have actually a railway line there. A cantilever bridge operates and the small ships go through that. After that comes Rameswaram, and after that comes Dhanushkodi. And between Dhanushkodi and Talai Mannar in Sri Lanka is the Ramasetu, which can be seen by an aerial photograph or through NASA space images. It is surprising that the Minister for Culture made an extraordinary statement in the Rajya Sabha, where this statement was made by the minister saying that there is no archaeological study to confirm the existence of a bridge. It's an unusual statement for a minister to make. I will present to you the number of evidences to show that this is an instance of suggesting falsehood and suppressing truth. The NASA websites are very emphatic about the existence of a bridge. A land bridge is a monumental structure that can be seen from the space. These are the websites. So it's not necessary for any minister to write to NASA to get this confirmed. It's all available in the public domain on the internet. URL references are given there from the NASA government website. In addition, there are archaeological and research reports right from 1799 of the Asiatic Society which refer to the bridge, the land bridge that connects Bharatam and Sinhala Deepa or Ceylon. And this was used as a land bridge right until 1480 when a cyclone struck and created some gaps. This is like also called setu bandha, like Allah Band, and it got broken in 3 places, 1480. The people call it a bridge. Otherwise, it appears to have wood growing on it and to be inhabited. People were living there. In fact, this is substantiated by the fact that in most of our ancient literature, there is a reference to 3 Shiva mandirams that were established, one at the beginning of the setu, second at the end of the setu, and in the middle of the setu. See, this is a map that was prepared in 1747 by Netherlands, which clearly shows Raman Kovil, I, India, at the point where Dhanushkodi starts and Talaimannar gets bridged by the Ramasetu. In 1788, an Australian botanical explorer drew a map where in addition to Ramar Kovil, he clearly calls it a Ramar Bridge. This is a map of Hindustan or Mughal Empire, and this is the map that the Minister for Shipping was looking at in the Saraswati Mahal Library in Tanjavur, where this map is available. After 16 years, in 1804, James Runnell, who was the first Surveyor General of British India, renames the bridge, changes the name Ramar Bridge and calls it Adams Bridge. Similarly, on this side, what was called Vishnupadam, he calls it Adams Peak. Similarly, what was called Gauri Shankar, he calls it Mount Everest. There are a number of maps that have been prepared by the University of Chicago by a very great scholar called Schwarzberg. It is called the Schwarzberg South Asia Atlas, where there is a clear reference to the 8th to 12th century Tirthasthanas, where the area between Rameswaram and Mahatirtha or Talaimannar is referred to as Setu, and within brackets it is shown as Adams Bridge. There are more maps. In the days of Al-Biruni of 1048 of this century, about death of 1000 years ago, it is referred to as Setu Bandha between Rameswaram and Talaimannar. And in Puranic India, it was called the Setuka, linking the Pandya kingdom with the Simhala kingdom, close to Musika and Kumari Kingdom. This map of the Vedic and Epic period shows the link between Tamaraparni and Sri Lanka as a land link across Rameswaram and Talaimannar across this bridge. The Madras Presidency Manual of 1744, under the entry called Adam, it calls it the Bridge of Rama, joined Ceylon to India until 1480, when a breach was made through rocks during a storm. A subsequent storm enlarged this and foot traffic then ceased. So it's categorically clear that until 1480, this was used as a land bridge connecting Bharatam and Sri Lanka. This is also referred to in some travelogues written in 1744, referring to a visit to Ceylon by walking on the bridge.